Kevin Durant's latest Nike ad was supposed to get people talking for all the right reasons. Instead, it left NBA players and fans roasting it almost immediately. From Drake's appearance to Durant's awkward reactions, the commercial quickly turned into the league's latest joke. Let me break it down. Picture this. Kevin Durant is sitting in his living room. A massive wooden crate gets delivered to his door. It explodes open with confetti, and out pops Drake, dressed like he just walked off a music video set, screaming about purple sneakers. That's not a fan edit. That's an actual Nike commercial that aired in the middle of June 2026. The commercial features the Toronto superstar literally delivering himself to Durant's doorstep, inside a giant wooden shipping crate. And moments later, confetti flies, the crate bursts open, and Drake launches into a passionate sales pitch for the monochromatic purple sneakers. He doesn't just hype the shoes, fully committed to the bit. Drake crowns the kicks, the baddest shoes in all the land, and even suggests Durant embrace the theme completely by changing his name to Kevin Durant. That alone would have been enough to make people cringe. But Drake wasn't done. He turned to the camera and took a direct shot at Minnesota Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards, one of the biggest names in the league and Adidas's golden boy. The OVO rapper then takes a playful shot at Minnesota Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards, who catches a stray. Best colorway I've ever seen in my entire life. "Hey Ant-Man, can you drop your purple shoes?" said 4 kids in Minnesota, he quipped. That's the moment that broke the internet. Not the sneaker reveal, not the confetti. A rapper standing in Kevin Durant's living room, mocking another NBA All-Star's personal life in the middle of a shoe ad. Here's why that line hit different than a normal brand jab. The crack about 4 kids in Minnesota points directly to the internet rumors and reports that surfaced in 2025 regarding the All-Star guard's personal life, when allegations spread that he had fathered 4 children with 4 different women. So this wasn't just Nike versus Adidas, this was personal, and everybody watching knew it immediately. Edwards has kept things quiet on his end so far, but the internet is already having a field day with the clip, and fans didn't hold back either. Fans quickly shared clips of the commercial across X, Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms, with many laughing at the unexpected Anthony Edwards reference, while others joked that Edwards now has another reason to add Drake to his growing list of competitors. Now, Durant himself. Watch his face in the ad, and you can tell he knows exactly what's happening. He's not laughing along. Durant's response is a complete 180 from Drake's, as he responds with a mere "Wow, these are fire." That's it. That's his whole reaction while Drake is out here going 20 rounds on a rival player's family life. The contrast is the joke, and it's also exactly why fans started calling this the most embarrassing Nike spot Durant's ever been part of. He's standing right there while his own hype man turns a shoe commercial into a personal attack, and all he can muster is a shrug. This wasn't a one-off either. This was the ongoing storyline surrounding Drake's over-the-top yes-man character, and by this point in the campaign, the bit had already worn out its welcome for a chunk of the fan base. People weren't just laughing at Edwards getting dragged into it. They were laughing, wincing, and cringing at Durant for letting his own commercial turn into this. The timing made it worse. This ad dropped with the KD19 purple candies arriving this week, as Nike appears to have everyone's attention, meaning this wasn't some rushed, low-budget spot. This was a planned, produced, script-approved commercial that Durant signed off on. Somebody at Nike wrote that Anthony Edwards line into the script. Durant stood there and filmed it, and now it's one of the biggest sneaker world stories of the summer, for all the wrong reasons. What's wild is how quickly the conversation shifted away from the actual product. The joke quickly caught the attention of fans online, many of whom viewed it as more than a routine Nike versus Adidas jab. And whether intentional or not, the moment became one of the ad's biggest talking points almost immediately. Nike wanted people talking about a shoe. Instead, everyone's talking about whether Kevin Durant let his campaign get personal, and whether he should have stopped it before it aired. Throughout all this, Durant plays it cool on camera. Almost too cool. Throughout the commercial, Durant plays the perfect straight man, calmly watching Drake's increasingly chaotic enthusiasm unfold. At one point simply labeling Drake wild before eventually giving his approval to the sneaker. Wild is one word for it. Fans online had a lot more than that. And this wasn't even Drake's first appearance in the campaign. This was already the second commercial in a matter of weeks, meaning Nike had built an entire marketing plan around Drake playing a hype man for Durant. The first one had already generated plenty of side eyes. This second one, with Edwards getting dragged into it, is the one that turned embarrassing from a joke fans were making into a genuine question about what Durant was thinking letting this happen. So how did Anthony Edwards actually react to getting name dropped in his rival shoe commercial? Publicly, he stayed pretty quiet, but the players around the league, and the internet acting as a stand-in jury, did not stay quiet at all. Let's start with the obvious tension here. This isn't some random beef Nike manufactured out of nowhere. The ongoing sneaker battle between Houston Rockets forward Kevin Durant and Minnesota Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards has another new chapter with the help of Toronto rapper Drake. These two have been going at it for years, and Edwards has never been the type to sit back and take a shot without clapping back eventually. In fact, Edwards runs his whole Adidas campaign on exactly this kind of energy. Durant and Drake better be careful, as Edwards has enlisted comedian Cat Williams to brutally roast Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's Converse sneakers this past season. Read that again. Edwards had a literal comedian roast the reigning MVP caliber guard's sneaker deal on camera. That's the kind of shots fired culture Edwards has built around his brand. So when Drake and Durant came for him, everybody in the league knew this wasn't going to just disappear quietly. Edwards' Adidas marketing campaign regularly takes shots at other players and sneaker brands, only receiving blowback occasionally. Now bring in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's situation for a second. He's one of the faces of the league, an MVP-level talent, and Edwards still let a comedian clown his shoe deal in a national ad. That tells you the temperature of this rivalry before Durant and Drake even got involved. Everybody's taking shots at everybody. It's just that this time, Durant and Drake's shot landed on something a lot more personal than sneakers. Then there's James Harden, whose name got dragged back into this mess too. Just months before the Drake ad aired, a video surfaced online of Durant making fun of Adidas shoes, asking who the FK wears Adidas. And if you're not hooping, who wears Adidas? Adidas footwear designer Lalal Inaya shared an old screenshot of Durant complimenting James Harden's 8th signature Adidas basketball shoe. So Durant got caught contradicting himself, praising an Adidas shoe when it was Harden's, then trashing the brand entirely once Edwards was wearing it. Adidas made sure everyone saw the receipts. That's 3 different NBA adjacent names tangled up in this single storyline. Edwards taking the direct hit, Gilgeous-Alexander getting roasted in a rival campaign months earlier, and Harden's old sneaker getting resurfaced to expose Durant's double standard. And that's before you even get to the fans. Social media reactions split into a few camps. Some people thought the whole thing was comedy gold. One fan commented, "I need a man who glazes me the way Drake glazes literally any athlete ever," while another fan wrote, "Is it me? Or is Drake leaning into his Canadian accent more than ever?" Others weren't having it at all. "I didn't find this ad funny at all," a third fan added. That's the split that defines this entire story. Half the internet is dying laughing at Drake's delivery. The other half is looking at Durant standing there, letting his hype man take personal shots at a Timberwolves all-star, and thinking, this is embarrassing, and not in the funny way Nike was hoping for. Edwards, for his part, has built a reputation that makes people assume he'll respond eventually, just not on Nike or Drake's timeline. Edwards is unlikely to lose any sleep over the comments, as the Timberwolves superstar has built a reputation as one of the league's most confident players, and has embraced every challenge thrown his way, with the attention only highlighting how much his profile has grown across the basketball world. That's the frustrating part for anyone hoping for an instant blow-up. Edwards is the kind of player who usually claps back hard and fast when somebody comes for him. This time, silence, which almost makes the ad look worse in hindsight. Durant and Drake threw a personal jab at a guy who's normally quick with a comeback, and got nothing back. No victory lap, no viral response tweet, just the ad sitting out there, looking more awkward by the day, as Edwards refuses to dignify it with a response. Meanwhile, the sneaker business side of this rivalry keeps grinding on regardless of who's embarrassed by what. Edwards has rapidly emerged as one of the NBA's most marketable young superstars, with his Adidas signature line becoming one of the company's biggest success stories in recent years, with multiple releases selling out and generating buzz across social platforms. In other words, Nike and Drake picked a fight with a guy whose shoe line is doing just fine, without needing Durant's approval. And that's really the tension sitting underneath this whole ad campaign. Durant's been in the league forever, has a legacy deal, and doesn't need this kind of manufactured drama to sell shoes. Edwards is the new face of the sneaker world coming up fast behind him. So when Drake takes that shot in Durant's commercial, it doesn't read as punching up. It reads as the established guy's hype squad trying to take down the guy who's threatening to pass him. And a lot of NBA fans picked up on exactly that dynamic, which is why so many were rolling their eyes at Durant instead of laughing at Edwards. To understand why this ad felt so cringeworthy to so many people, you have to go back to where this whole campaign began, because the Anthony Edwards shot wasn't the first time Drake made Durant look uncomfortable on camera. It was actually the second commercial in a row where Durant seemed visibly annoyed by his own hype man. The first ad in the series set the entire tone. In it, Durant and Drake are in a locker room when the two-time NBA champion asks the Canadian rapper if he'd like to see his new shoes. Durant first whips out a heinous sneaker cowboy boot hybrid, but Drake reacts as if Michael Jordan had just shown him his first Air Jordan silhouette. Watch that reaction. It's not subtle. Okay, first thought, transcending the game. Drake said to Durant when getting a first look at a blue and orange pair of KD sneakers that are essentially half cowboy boots. You need a banjo for those. Those are crazy. Y'all went home on the range with it. Wow. You're in 2038 with those. Durant's reaction to that is basically him trying not to laugh at how ridiculous his own friend is being. Come on, bro, I can't hoop in these. Durant responded before breaking out an all-white pair of fluffy kicks that have seemingly been growing hair for years. And Drake, without missing a beat, just kept the bit going. This guy's an abominable snowman. They're hard. This guy's trying to dominate the Alaskan market. Drake quipped. At this point, Durant's had enough. Durant goes on to question if Drake's even a real friend, as the 37-year-old couldn't believe the sixth god co-signed the pairs of kicks. "Are you a yes man, bro?" he snapped at Drizzy. That line, "Are you a yes man, bro?" became the moment fans latched onto immediately. "Are you a yes man, bro?" he asks after the rapper somehow manages to hype up yet another bizarre sneaker concept. And that line instantly became the internet's favorite part of the ad, because it's Durant basically calling out his own commercial in real time, admitting on camera that this whole thing is absurd. The ad wraps with a tagline that leans directly into the joke. Drake immediately hyped the monochromatic sneaker and joked that he suffered a cavity after just holding the pair, saying someone called the dentist, before continuing to nudge Durant about other colors on the way, which annoyed the NBA star. The Nike ad comes to a close with a tagline, "Everyone needs a yes man." Drake then posted it himself with a caption that basically confirmed exactly what fans were already saying. "Normalize glazing the bros," Drake captioned his post to IG regarding the commercial. Reaction to that first ad was already mixed before Edwards ever got mentioned. Some fans thought it was comedy gold, the kind of natural chemistry you can't script. Kevin Durant and Drake teamed up for a comedy-filled Nike KD19 commercial that instantly went viral after fans reacted to Drake hilariously hyping every bizarre sneaker design Durant showed him. Others thought it was just cringe from start to finish, an old friendship being turned into forced content for a shoe launch. Part of what made it land as embarrassing for some fans is exactly how close these two actually are off camera, which makes the try-hard bit feel even more calculated. The 16-time NBA All-Star also attended Drake's Iceman release party earlier this week, making the commercial feel more like two close friends joking around than a traditional sneaker campaign. And Drake's been shouting Durant out in his music too. Durant has been loyal to Drake since the early stages of their careers, and they've become close friends, with Drizzy giving the future Hall of Famer a shout-out on Maid of Honor's Q&A, rapping "Me and KD got way too much cheese," like the, yeah, I got some questions for you, and I need answers for them. So this wasn't some random celebrity cameo. This was Durant's actual friend, turned into a walking punchline for a shoe campaign, escalating ad after ad until it eventually spilled over into taking shots at another NBA player's family. What started as harmless yes man comedy about ugly sneaker designs slowly built into something a lot more personal and a lot more uncomfortable to watch, especially for Durant, who has to keep standing there next to it with a straight face. None of this happens in a vacuum. The reason Drake's joke about Anthony Edwards landed the way it did is because Durant and Edwards have been feuding publicly, repeatedly for years, and Nike knew exactly what buttons they were pushing when they wrote that line into the ad. Let's go back to where it started. Durant and Edwards' sneaker rivalry dates back to December 2023. Durant and Edwards first traded shoe-related barbs after Edwards said he'd like to see Durant wear his debut Adidas signature sneaker. But Durant quickly shut down the idea, writing on social media that fans would never see him wearing the shoe. The exact quote still gets brought up constantly. Durant flatly told Edwards on social media, "Won't ever see me put a big toe in them furs." Adidas didn't take that quietly either. The Adidas social media team quickly clapped back. "You dusty about to retire soon anyway," before Adidas then deleted the post and added, "Meant to send that from the burner account." Yes, an actual apparel company's social team accidentally admitted to running a burner account to talk trash about a future Hall of Famer. That's how deep this rivalry runs. It's not just the players, it's the entire corporate machinery behind them. Then came the clip that made Adidas retaliate again. Earlier this year, another clip involving Durant made the rounds online after he questioned who actually wears Adidas off the basketball court. And the comments prompted a response from the brand's footwear designer, Lalal Enaye, who resurfaced an old message showing Durant praising James Harden's Adidas sneakers. Every time Durant throws a shot, somebody digs up an old receipt showing him contradicting himself. That's become the pattern of this entire rivalry. Meanwhile, the actual product releases keep escalating the stakes. Durant first signed a deal with Nike in 2007 and has since released over a dozen signature sneaker models, going on to sign a lifetime deal with the brand in 2023. He's not some rookie trying to build a brand. He's one of the most established signature athletes in Nike history, sitting second longest tenured active athlete under Nike, behind only Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James. Edwards, by contrast, is the new blood threatening to take over that exact space Durant has occupied for 2 decades. This shouldn't be surprising, as Edwards is signed to Adidas, a rival of Nike, and the two brands have been using their athletes as proxies in an actual marketing war. In a digital age where going viral means everything, marquee basketball brands like Nike, Adidas, and more continue to pull out all the stops when it comes to marketing campaigns around their NBA talent. And Adidas and Anthony Edwards have been throwing shots at everyone in the league. So naturally, a star like Kevin Durant has some tricks up his sleeve with the help of Nike. And it's not just Edwards and Durant sniping at each other off the court either. This has bled into their actual games against each other. Durant also trolled Edwards after the last matchup between the Rockets and Wolves, declining Edwards' request for a jersey, saying Edwards had gained too much weight. That's a real in-person jab, not just a marketing stunt. These two clearly don't like each other, and every ad campaign since has just poured gasoline on it. So when Drake stepped into Durant's living room and took that shot about Edwards' personal life, it wasn't some out-of-nowhere joke a copywriter dreamed up. It was the latest chapter in a rivalry that's been building for going on 3 years, dragging in shoe designers, social media teams, burner accounts, and now one of the biggest musicians on the planet. The war of words between Durant and Edwards is unlikely to end soon, especially as brands embrace the beef for social media clout. But the real winners are fans and sneakerheads. The KD19 itself became a battleground of colorways tied to this whole storyline. The KD19 officially launched earlier this week and is arriving in Orange Crush and Purple Stuff colorways, before an even more anticipated collaboration with Drake's Knock the Label drops later this summer. Even the purple colorway that sparked the Edwards joke wasn't a coincidence. The Phoenix forward has been a major face for Nike for years, while the Minnesota guard is holding it down as a premier athlete for Adidas. And the Adidas AE1 line actually has its own popular purple look, known as the Preloved Purple colorway. Drake's whole rant about the baddest shoes in all the land wasn't random hype. It was a direct comparison to a specific competing shoe, dressed up as harmless enthusiasm. So where does all of this leave Kevin Durant, Drake, and this campaign that turned into one of the most talked about and most cringed at sneaker moments of the year? On paper, it worked exactly the way Nike wanted. For Nike and Durant, the commercial accomplished exactly what it was supposed to do. People are talking about the KD19, and thanks to Drake's sense of humor and a well-timed Anthony Edwards joke, they are talking about it a lot more than they otherwise might have. The shoe itself has become one of the most anticipated releases of the year, selling for $155 and moving through multiple colorways within weeks of each other. But there's a cost to that kind of attention, and it's showing up in how fans talk about Durant himself, not just the shoe. The ad accomplished the marketing goal while making Durant look like the guy standing next to the joke instead of the guy telling it. Across both commercials, he spends most of his screen time looking uncomfortable, annoyed, or just plain over it, while Drake runs the show completely. For a 2-time champion, a soon-to-be Hall of Famer, watching him play second fiddle to his own hype man in commercial after commercial is exactly how close these two actually are off camera, which makes the try-hard bit feel even more calculated. And the Edwards situation is still technically unresolved. He hasn't fired back publicly, but given his track record, enlisting an actual comedian to roast Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's sneaker deal on national television, nobody around the league genuinely believes this ends with silence. It's not a matter of if Edwards responds, it's a matter of when and through what channel. Given how personal Drake's joke got, whatever Edwards eventually says back will almost certainly go further than a simple shoe jab. There's also the business side still playing out. Following the drop, Durant has debuted the purple stuff and the orange crush colorways ahead of a Nocta collaboration with Drake. That collaboration is still coming, meaning Drake and Durant aren't done appearing together on camera. If this pattern holds, expect at least one more ad before the year's out. And given how the last two escalated from goofy shoe reveals to personal shots at a rival player, there's a real question of how much further this campaign is willing to go to keep people talking. For now, the reaction across the league sits exactly where it started, split down the middle. Some fans think Drake and Durant delivered pure comedy gold, chemistry you can't manufacture with a script. Others think Durant led his own commercial spiral into something uncomfortable, personal, and frankly embarrassing for a guy with nothing left to prove in this league. Both things can be true at once. That's exactly why this ad hasn't stopped trending since it dropped, and why every NBA player who's crossed paths with either Durant or Edwards has an opinion sitting in their notifications, waiting for the right moment to say it out loud.